Hi, Becky Mallqui here from North Shore Speech and Language. We're located in Swampscott, Mass, which is just north of Boston. Today I wanted to make a video. I've noticed that I've made a lot of videos for babies and toddlers, and even though I am an early intervention specialist, I actually am a pediatric speech language pathologist, and so I do cover all the way till age 18. And so I thought, well, maybe I should make some videos, that apply to older children as well. Today I wanted to talk about executive functioning. So executive functioning is kind of like a hot ticket word right now, but it really is very, very important. Executive functioning refers to the processes that are going on right here in our frontal lobe of our brain. And when I think about executive functioning, you think of it as the CEO of your brain. It is the decision maker. It's helping to sort of bring everything together so that you can be successful during your daily life, your daily activities. Some examples of executive functioning skills would be planning, organizing, emotional regulation, transitioning, like being able to move through your routines, inhibition for impulsivity, that's a big one, right? So there are a lot of different things that basically go on in our frontal lobe that pertain to executive functioning. And the reason it's really important to start thinking about executive functioning, especially really when our kids are very young, is because these are the skills that you need to be successful at life. So there's research that shows that you could have a person who's incredibly, incredibly intelligent, but has very poor executive functioning skills. And they really aren't that successful at life. And then you have a person who maybe has a slightly lower cognitive ability, lower IQ, but they have really strong executive functioning skills. They can organize, they can plan, they have impulse control, social emotional regulation. And that person, even though they're intelligence level is not as high, they actually can be more successful at life. And it kind of shows how important these skills are. So when we think about our kids coming to speech and language therapy, a lot of times we're thinking about the here and the now. Like, what do we need to develop for them to be able to function at school and to be able to communicate with their peers and develop their language? But I think equally important is really looking at these executive functioning skills, which really you need for big picture stuff, being able to function independently in life. And that truly is our goal. Our goal is for our children to, when they're older, be able to be independent and function independent of us, their caregivers, their teachers. We want them to be able to go through their daily activities and not need as much support, outside support from other people, but to be able to do it within themselves. And that's why it's really important that if you are not targeting executive functioning skills with your children, typically developing, or kids with delays or disorders, then you really should start to target them. I don't think there's ever a age that's too young to start them. So executive functioning comes up a lot with our kids who are on the spectrum, autism kids, and also kids who have ADHD diagnosis. And I find that the more that you can work on these skills, the more that you're going to see these results translate into how well they're doing during their daily routines and at school. And so today what we're going to do is talk about a strategy that I use that works on planning, organizing. It works on initiation, getting started, and transitioning routines, being able to go through different things, have there be change, and also being able to take something from start to finish. Very important task, very important goal, sorry. So I'm sure you've heard of this, but I cannot stress enough how important it is to implement schedule boards. So this is a schedule board that I made for one of my slightly older students who was having a little bit of challenge with his morning routine, getting ready. Now he's able to accomplish all of these tasks, but we want him to be independent. We want to be able to say, get ready for school. and then he can go through all of the steps and get ready for school. Right now, this happens in every household, I know. Typically developing or kids who need a little extra support, you feel like you're like, get your backpack, get your shoes, eat your breakfast, brush your teeth, which are all the ones that are on this board. But really, you want to be able to say, get yourself ready for school. And the goal is that if we start working on this when they're young, then by the time they're teenagers, they can do it. We can wake them up, they can get themselves ready for school, and then we can be out the door in a timely manner. So here we have get dressed, eat breakfast, brush teeth, put your shoes on, and get your backpack. And what it is it is a visual roadmap of what the expectation for the morning is going to be. And in this case, the way the board works is you just fold it up after each task is completed. And then, once you've done all the tasks, you're done. So the child that this board was made for really responds really well to reward-based systems. So on the back, I put this Velcro marker, and in the morning, before he goes through his routine, he gets to make a choice with his mom about what he wants his reward to be. So they allocate time in the morning where they go through the routine, and then he gets about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the day, to do something fun before they actually leave for school. You'll see. The more that you can get the routine down, the more that it'll be an enjoyable morning, and you can actually have time for other things that you want to do. So some of the choices that he gets are to play a favorite game, watch a Thomas video, big fan of Thomas, or play on the iPad for a few minutes. And so before we even start the schedule for the day, we say, what do you want the reward to be? Or whatever language you want to use with your child that works for them. And so, do you want to watch a Thomas video? Do you want time on your iPad? Or do you want to play a game? And with anything, depending on their level, you may want to only give 2 options. If they are able to handle it, you can give 3 options. The same thing with this board. This board has 5 steps because this child is able to handle 5 steps. However, if you're just starting out, I would recommend doing only 1 or 2 steps on your board and then progressively increasing the amount of steps that you have. If you find that you start with 2 steps, you add 3 steps, and they start to falter, go back to 2 steps and just keep working on that until you can build into the 5 steps. So I would offer the choices. What do you want your reward to be? Do you want it to be Thomas videos, or do you want to play a game? And again, if they're verbal and they're able to, they will tell you which one they want. They want Thomas, okay. But if you're at a level where your child perhaps is a little less verbal or nonverbal, you always want to do choice making. And if they are unable to tell you verbally, you could simply watch their eye gaze and see which one they're looking at. Okay, I notice you're looking at Thomas. Thomas, point to Thomas. And then you can take their hand and you can put it into a point and help them to point it. And then you just put your reward on the back of their schedule. So basically, after they accomplish each task to completion, they get their reward. 1 or 2 quick other things about this board. When you initially start, you will have to walk them through the steps with them. You are just doing the same routine that you always do, only you have your board with you, and as you do the routine, you are starting to implement the board. So together, you will go and get dressed, and then you'll say, good job getting dressed, we're all done getting dressed, okay, help me, and then have them push it up, and visually they can see they're all done. Okay, what's next? Next we're going to eat. Let's eat our breakfast. Eat. And again, gestures, words, modify depending on their level. And as they complete each task, you go ahead and close it. Now, as they become better at the board, you could simply say to them, what are we going to do first? That's right. That's right. We're going to get dressed first. Okay, get dressed. And so they'll get dressed, or you'll help them get dressed. Okay, we're all done getting dressed. What are we going to do next? Oh, we're going to eat. Okay, let's eat. And then you help them with that. And then the final step would ultimately be where you can just have the board up. Maybe you have it on the wall, and when they come downstairs, you say, okay, let's do our morning routine. Let's get ready. And then the goal is for them to physically be able to do the board on their own with very, very minor support from you. Okay? So that's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Again, this type of activity is working on transitioning between different routines. It's working on making a plan. I am a huge cheerleader of plan, do, reassess for success. So you guys make the plan of what you're going to do, you do all of the actions, and then afterwards you assess how it went, and you talk about the things that were awesome and can stay, and the things that maybe you need to modify in the future. Okay? So if you have any questions about executive functioning, schedule boards, how to implement a system like this, I know I just threw that all into a very short video, and it is more complicated than that, but definitely shoot me an email, check out our website, www.northshorespeechandlanguage.com, or go ahead and put a comment below, and I'm happy to respond. Okay? Thanks.